What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Carrie.
What's up?
We have a lot of news to get to, some bad, some very funny. But first, since we last got to talk to Carrie, she has literally moved to the other side of the country.
It's true.
So I'm curious, first of all, how was that journey? How was the trip across?
The drive, we went pretty much straight through because I brought two cats with me. Gannon and Friday came with me out to California, and so it's not like we could really stop and do touristy stuff with cats in the car. So it was pretty much straight through. We drove for 3.5 days, left on Thursday the 26th and got into beautiful Contra Costa County, California in that Sunday night. So I've been here for a little bit more than a week now. And yeah, like the drive was pretty nice. It helps that I have cats that were pretty good in the car. They basically just slept. So that was perfect. They were very good beans. I was concerned that they would freak out and, get sick or something like that, but they were fine and they've adjusted really well out here. And listened to a lot of podcasts. wasn't doing much gaming in the car, I'll be honest. It was mostly just sort of listening to podcasts and all that. But yeah, I had a lot of big life changes happen this year. I got divorced and I moved across the country. So it feels really good to be on the other side of all of that. I will say that. So I do appreciate I've had a lot of folks say some very, very kind things to me this year about what I've been dealing with and what I've gone through. So thank you very much to those of you who have done so. This year was very stressful for a lot of very obvious reasons, but it feels really good to be here, and it feels good to have all of that shit very much behind me at this point in time, and I can finally sort of focus on myself and focus on my own happiness and actually prioritizing myself for fucking once in my life and enjoying everything that California has to offer, which so far includes a lot of palm trees and and nice weather. So
Well, that sounds very cool. Like I said, it's weird that you're 3,000 miles away, but we've had.
I know, you mentioned offline before we started. It's weird that like I'm in California, but I'm wearing a sweater today.
Yes.
To be fair, I live in like I live in the Bay Area now. So it's laterally very similar to where I left. I didn't go to SoCal, where if it drops below 75 degrees, you've got people out there in winter coats because they don't know how to handle it. But no, I would consider it a pleasant fall day today. But yeah, drive was good. Nebraska can go fuck itself, though. That state's got nothing.
I was gonna ask you how was the trip across quote unquote America's heartland as everyone's
America's
so
heartland doesn't have anything in it.
Just a bunch of flat land that you're.
A lot of flat land. A lot of flat land and a two-lane highway, man. Yeah, just. It was so strange because the first night, we only drove about 6 hours and we got as far as like Ohio, and it was fairly warm in Ohio when we got up. It was like a 70-degree day when we left. And then by the time we got to Omaha, Nebraska, it was like 28 degrees. I was like, this sucks. And then we drove. Yeah, it was like Iowa. I don't even remember Iowa. It's just like nothing.
It's because it is not memorable. That's why you didn't remember it, because there's nothing to remember.
Between like the Appalachian Mountains and the Rocky Mountains, there's nothing. There's fucking nothing. And to drive through Pennsylvania and Ohio in this time of year is beautiful. The fall foliage in the East Coast is beautiful. around the Appalachians especially. And then like you get past that and it's just like flat land for 1,200
Yeah.
miles. Like
One
it's
of my
nothing.
favorite scenic drives that I ever did was we traveled when we were on vacation one year. We stopped at a couple cities because we went to the Baseball Hall of Fame, and we drove
Okay, sure.
From Cooperstown down to Cleveland. So we basically got to
Okay.
travel down that entire northern New York corridor, and there was like tons of mountain ranges in the
Oh yeah.
distance, and and all kinds of like
Beautiful.
great foliage and stuff like that. And yeah, like I said, I've never been to the middle states. I've only flown over them, as is customary typically with those.
Yeah, because
So
there's really nothing to do. Like Omaha is nice, but
mhm.
that's like beep, right over the border into
Yeah,
Nebraska, and that's like your one big city. And then like we drove all the way through Nebraska and Wyoming, and it was just cold, so cold. And it was snowing, but here's the thing: is at least in that part of the country, when it snows, like those people know how to fucking get that shit off the roads.
yeah.
Like I was not worried at all driving in that weather. Um, we stopped. Our last stop was in Park City, Utah, which is fairly close to Salt Lake City. And Utah was beautiful, gorgeous mountains, incredible rock formations, gorgeous. And then we got to Nevada, and it was just like brown for 5 hours. It was like, wow, like New Vegas got it right. Like this is just what this state looks like.
It's true. I mean, just ask Andy; he'll tell you.
It's yeah, it's there's nothing there. I was like, wow, this is spot on. And then getting through the Sierra Nevada, again, beautiful, huge mountains. I am not used to driving through mountains that are that tall. Like
Hmm.
the Appalachians are mountains, but they're old mountains. So they've been sort of worn down by time, millions of years, right? And the Rockies and the Sierra Nevada are very new mountains. So they're huge and very, very tall. And they made me like, I felt sort of anxious driving through them because I was like, I feel very small right now driving through these enormous mountain passes. But yeah, look, driving cross country, I having now done it, it's like I would do it again. You know,
Hmm.
I would maybe take more than one day off of work this time in order to do it.
Oh yeah,
And
that
like
sounds terrible.
actually, yeah, I only took the one day of PTO. I left like as soon as I was done with work that Thursday, and then drove all day Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we arrived here at home Sunday night. So yeah,
Mm.
I would maybe take like a week off from work to do it next
Sa-
time and like
It's one of those things that
actually see
sounds.
parts of the country.
It's
But
one of
yeah,
those things that sounds really compelling to do, and then I remember that like my limit for like driving before I really just am over it is like 8 hours in one stint. And my problem is that obviously like I would do it with my wife, but I like as much as like I remember when we took that big roundabout trip and probably drove about 1,500 miles in total over a week.
sure.
Um, I was like, yeah, I was like, we'll split the driving, like that'll be great. And I think the only driving that I let her do was like the first hour out of Canton, into Western Pennsylvania, and then I was just like, and then when we stopped somewhere, and then I was like, yeah, I'll take over, like it's fine, like I because I just feel more comfortable behind the wheel
I also
of the
generally
car.
feel more comfortable. And it's one of these things where I was doing basically all the driving through like Nebraska and Wyoming where it was snowy because my partner who I moved in with out here, he's a sweet California boy and he doesn't know what it's like to drive in snow. So I was like, I'll just let me do this, please. You know?
So now that you're over there, you've gotten settled in a little bit. Have
Yep.
you been playing video games at all?
I finally feeling like I can get back into video games. The only new thing that I've been playing
Mhm.
has been Mario Wonder. My partner has it on his Switch, so I started a new file on his copy rather than waste the money just to have it on my own Switch. That feels like a waste of time. So we've been doing co-op. So we got through the first world last night. That game's real cute. I
Yeah.
like it a lot. I love a good 2D platformer, and there are so many things about Mario Wonder that remind me of Rayman Legends. And Rayman Legends is a game that if you haven't played it, you missed out. Like, please go play it. It's very good. The humor in Mario Wonder and the overall style of these little like teehee little moments in the level design, I think are very reminiscent of Rayman Legends. So it's nice to see this sort of like whimsy come through in Mario Wonder, and the embracing of these wacky ideas, even if they're only embraced for 5 minutes at a
Hmm.
time. But it's really nice to see. But again, I encountered a lot of things where it was just like Rayman Legends did this 10 years
Yeah.
ago kind of stuff. So if you really like Mario Wonder, you want more of that style of, humor and sort of like wacky level design, do yourself a favor and go back and play Rayman Legends if you haven't already done so. But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of that. I'm looking forward to jumping back into Baldur's Gate 3. I really need to finish my first playthrough of that. And I'm looking forward to picking up Spider-Man. I might do that this weekend,
Yeah.
since I'll have the house to myself for a few days here. So
Yeah, it's like I said, I haven't given Mario Wonder as much time as I would like, just because I talked about it last week. Diablo Season 2 is really, really good. Like I'm playing that incessantly right now, which is a problem because there's plenty of other things that I
Oh,
need to play.
the other thing I've been doing is obviously, I haven't stopped playing Final Fantasy 14, right?
Mhm.
But one of the big updates that they did last week, they put in the Fall Guys
Oh yeah,
crossover event.
I saw that actually. It's you're playing as like the Final Fantasy characters, but you're playing like bespoke Fall Guys levels,
Yes,
basically, right?
so you're basically playing Fall Guys. It's in the Manderville Gold Saucer, so which is already just like the wacky mini game area. Um, But yeah, so it's a limited time thing. They haven't I don't think they've specified how long it runs through. But yeah, it's like you just play Fall Guys as your warrior of lights
Hmm.
and it's well designed, it's well executed. There are plenty of little mechanics that you have encountered in dungeons and in bosses and whatnot that come into play in these little mini games and whatnot. So you still need a familiarity with both Fall Guys bullshit and FF14 bullshit, right? But yeah, it's a really well executed crossover, and I'm glad for it.
Yeah.
It's provided me with a good deal of entertainment so far.
So, like I said, that's a cool. Like, I like when crossovers happen that seem completely out of left field, but it's still like they make it make sense, and they make it work somehow. Not like the other Final Fantasy crossover where basically you play a series of cup noodle advertisements that from Final Fantasy 15. Like, this
Yeah.
seems a little bit much, a little bit more organic. So very cool. Yeah, I look forward to getting more into Mario Wonder. The other problem is too, my son steals the Switch all the time. He really likes to
Mm.
play and watch videos on the Switch. So, like, and when I say watch videos, like, he likes to go to the eShop and watch like the trailers of the games. That's what he likes to do for some reason. So
Hey.
so it's hard to get that from him. Also too, like, I need new controllers because, man, the Joy Cons on my OLED have seen some wear and tear. And I think I'm ready to get a new set, and I might get those Hori ones because they're a little bit bigger and
Okay.
easier to hold. Let's get into the news this week. But before we do that, a little bit of housekeeping. Don't forget that you can join our Discord by going to densepixels.com/fans. In there, you can chat with other folks in the community and with us, and you can ask us post office questions that we answer later on in the show. Make sure you follow us on YouTube by checking out Dense Pixels. We release this podcast in video format every single week. You can also subscribe to us in your regular podcasting app, along with all the other great TNP Studio shows that are out there. Don't forget as well, we have a premium content feed that you can subscribe to by going to densepixels.com/premium. It is just $5 a month or $50 for the entire year. That gets you access to all of the premium shows that TNP Studios puts out, including weekly full episodes of the Look Forward Political Podcast. And if you'd like to contribute to us financially, use our Amazon link by going to densepixels.com/Amazon for everything that you're buying from Jeff Bezos anyway. Elon Musk is changing gaming as we know it. A few months back in April, Xbox decided that they would remove Twitch integration from the Xbox console because they didn't feel like paying the new API fees that X, formerly Twitter, was charging people to use X integration. And now PlayStation is following suit, which is very funny because the entire reason that you have a share button on your DualShock 4 controller and your DualSense controller is literally because of Twitter. And that's why that feature was built in. Basically, the share button was made so you could easily share screenshots and video clips from your PlayStation onto Twitter with all of your friends. And thanks to Elon Musk, now you will no longer be doing that because he wanted to rip off folks for using the very commonly out there Twitter API. What a guy Elon Musk is.
Yeah, I don't, you know.
I like, again, I think we've talked about it on here before. I know I've talked about it and look forward. Elon Musk's fundamental mistake is that he thought that Twitter was the product. Like he thought that the platform was the product, and he thought that people would pay money to use the platform because that's what made Twitter great. And the platform's not the product. The posts are the product. The content is the product, and that's the fundamental miscalculation that he made there, and that's why it's literally worth half of what he paid for it just 1 year ago, which is insane. So good job, Elon. Again, why people continue to hold this dude up as a great business person.
I just
no fucking idea.
I don't fucking understand. He's a dumbass.
He's a dumbass.
He's a dumbass.
He is a dumbass. He is one of the biggest dumbasses, in fact, compounded by the fact that he has so much notoriety that just increases his dumbassness. So, Carrie, it is November 7th. That's a bit of a holiday around these parts.
I'm aware. I might not have played Mass Effect, but I don't live under a rock, so.
It is N7 day. EA and BioWare celebrated by releasing another teaser for the new Mass Effect game that is currently in development. Which
will come out eventually.
Yeah, maybe one day. Now thought to be called Mass Effect Epsilon, based on a teaser that they put out earlier today. Okay. But this will be a N7 day, not soon to be forgotten, for different reasons as well, because this afternoon, quality assurance testers who worked on Dragon Age Dreadwolf, but were laid off by the contracted company that employed them, picketed outside of BioWare's offices today to call attention to the fact that they thought that they were treating unfairly. And it's worth also mentioning that these group of QA testers were in the process of unionizing when they were laid off. So they went ahead and picketed outside of the BioWare offices today. They also worked in collaboration, basically, with the folks formerly of BioWare that are currently filing suit against BioWare for proper severance benefits after all the layoffs that happened just a couple months ago at the studio. BioWare has decided not to pay those out, so now that is going to be going to court. BioWare also tried to stop this this picketing from happening outside of their office, but the Canadian Labour Board ruled that it was perfectly valid to be held there because they worked alongside the folks that worked inside of that office. So I think this is great. Very smart to do this on a day that many eyes will be on BioWare, just because it is a notable day, and this is the kind of stuff you need to do if you're labor organizations, to get attention and to get that public sympathy on your side, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, how hard is it to pay proper severance, man? Like,
well, when you don't have any fucking money.
I guess, but like now it's like, how much more money you're going to be spending on the lawsuit than you would have paid to just pay out proper severance in the first place. Yeah. Like, make it make sense.
And that's why it's funny, because like you said, you joke that like, oh, new Mass Effect when, like Mass Effect fans are very excited. Like, I actually did what you should never do, and on the YouTube video where they released this teaser, I actually just kind of started flipping through the comments section.
The comments.
Almost universally positive. I couldn't believe it. Like a lot of excitement, a lot of positivity in the comments section. People like super excited about the trailer. Like being like, oh, like, could you imagine if BioWare could, the redemption arc and turn it around and all this other shit. But because of the current state of that division in EA, and because of the lack of success of Anthem, and we'll see what happens with Dragon Age 4. there is no guarantee that we'll really get any Mass Effects. I don't think. Like I think that that's very much an open question as they work towards it. I get the sense that EA would probably want to make sure that they release a new Mass Effect game, but you never know. Like I said, I
I
could
mean,
easily see EA just cutting their losses and and closing down the studio on equally. So
yep. Who fucking knows? And it's a shame, isn't it, in so many ways, to see just like how far BioWare has fallen as a company,
yeah.
both in terms of the overall product and in terms of how they treat their employees. I feel like what, 8, 10 years ago, BioWare was the company,
Mm-hmm.
right? It was the company to work for, because they at least I believe they treated their employees much better than they currently do, and you come out with games like Mass Effect and Dragon Age Inquisition, um, and I mean, what a legacy company. This is the company that did KOTOR. This is the
Mm-hmm.
company that did so many other, massively influential games across different franchises. And now it's like they put out an Andromeda, which pretty universally panned uh in terms
I
of
think
the
I
reception.
think I think I think the problem is that it was a 7 out of 10 game, right? Like it was like a seven point
Right.
five
I
out of ten. But
mean,
that's not the standard that the series
it's not the
aspired
standard that
to.
the series certainly set for itself.
Yeah.
And then Anthem was what, just a wet fart of an experience. At best. Um so you end up with just these kind of, I, I don't want to say flop after flop, but
Hmm.
certainly things that did not live up to expectations. And now you have all this stuff coming out about they're not paying their employees and all these layoffs and this, that, and the other, and what the hell's going on with the development of Dragon Age Dreadwolf, and what the hell's going on with the next Mass Effect game, and it doesn't, BioWare isn't what it was a few
Hmm.
years ago, and it's almost astonishing to me just to see how fast that company has fallen out of favor in the
Yeah.
public eye.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I'm sure that every Dragon Age fan is hoping that that 4 is a big win, and Lord knows BioWare could use it. If
I hope
anything,
it's good.
if anything, just to kind of the rinse out the the bad taste of that 1-2 punch of Andromeda and Anthem releasing
Yeah.
pretty much back to back. So we'll see. But yeah, I definitely hope that that these workers get what they're striving for. It's gonna be tougher for the QA folks. I think the folks on the Severance side of things probably have a little bit more of a line to success.
Yeah.
The QA workers, unfortunately, it's going to be difficult, especially because again, BioWare was not the company that laid them off. Technically, it was the the contractor that they worked for
Right.
that did that. So take a quick break. Give you guys some ads, and then we'll be right back with more news. Carrie, what is it with Japanese game developers generally and just kind of not getting it?
Look,
I guess you could say in the Western market.
I don't know. It's the I don't know.
Yeah, Capcom is on a is on a multi-year heater right now. Like you could argue ever since Monster Hunter World came out,
Yeah.
they have been on fire in terms of releases, just releasing banger after banger, games that are selling really well. Completely reinvigorated the Resident Evil franchise to make that one of the hottest selling franchises in the industry.
Yeah,
Uh,
it was like between Monster Hunter World and RE2
yeah,
remake, basically since 2019, Capcom has just done like banger after banger after
yeah.
banger. Like,
But did you know, Carrie, that modding their PC games is something that can cause reputational damage thanks to creating content which can cause offense to public order and morals, which hurts Capcom's images. Capcom did a presentation on their R&D YouTube channel recently, and the presentation was focused on anti-cheat and anti-piracy measures and how they're using them in their games. The quote that they kind of rolled out there was mods are popular with users because they allow them to add or change various features to an existing game. The majority of mods can have a positive impact, but some mods are seen as detrimental by the company in terms of reputational damage and workload. Quoting again, there are a number of mods that are offensive to public order and morals. When these are disseminated, the image of the product is tarnished and branding is affected.
Look, Capcom, you got to understand that we're going to turn Nemesis into Thomas the Tank Engine, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Well, it's funny because like so Capcom says this and they're just like, and they had this wild take. Meanwhile, I can point to Bethesda specifically, right. and the life that their games, like this extended tale of life that their games are given, in great part because of the modding community. Like Skyrim is a game that's supposed to be quote unquote infinitely playable. You cannot tell me that it would be getting re-release after re-release and edition after edition coming out if it wasn't for some of the well-known mods in the modding community that were out there for people to use, just to make the game fun or different or change, aspects of the game that they just didn't like, adding quality of life features. That's really what modding is for. Like it's for gamers, taking this product and kind of tweaking it. And
well, look, you've got sort of two mindsets when it comes to modding, right? On one hand, you have basically what a lot of people have done with games like Skyrim or even, older Fallout games, where they write new content for it, or they add quality of life features, or to make the game more playable for longer. There are massive Skyrim and Oblivion and New Vegas and Fallout 3 mods that are almost like unofficial expansion packs in terms of the breadth of content that is written and in a lot of cases voiced and added into these games. And then on the other hand, you have like the hee-haw meme lord shitheads who are like, I'm going to put Shrek in this game. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give Chris Redfield big naturals. Like, it's like, so like, but the modding community is an umbrella of both of these sort of mindsets, right? You have like the people who take it very seriously, and then you have the people who treat it as a joke. But these things live in harmony and have lived in harmony for decades at this point. People have been putting dumb bullshit in games via mods since mods were a thing. It's a higher definition Thomas the Tank Engine model now. Right. That's really it.
Well, and the thing that also kind of gets me with this is like modding is a niche within a niche. Like it's a very small percentage of the community who participates in mods, because first of all, it's almost exclusively a PC centric issue. Obviously, like Xbox now has the ability to have limited mods in certain Bethesda games, but that's about the only publisher that's doing that. Everyone else, like, it's completely locked down on console. And again, only the most dedicated fans of your product are doing this, and in a lot of cases, doing things for the game that you either should have done yourself or that it's legitimately improving the game. A great example of this is when Starfield launched. It launched without support for DLSS because of some agreement that Bethesda had with AMD to only support FSR or something in the game. And modders were able to implement DLSS support in the game pretty much right away. And now it's getting official DLSS support later. But for folks that have NVIDIA graphics cards, which guess what, is a lot of fucking people on PC, like I'm sure having that mod out there was a bit of a godsend. I just don't understand why you care about it that much. It's really not tarnishing your game. No. The people that are it's not like people are buying Resident Evil 4 and immediately on first playthrough putting Shrek in the game. Like they are playing the experience that you intended, and then they are finding ways to engage with that game outside of that general experience with mods. Like that's literally what it is there for. I don't understand why you are in your crazy about this.
Yeah, I don't really understand why Capcom has such a weirdness about it, but whatever.
Yep. More layoffs in the game industry. This time, Ubisoft Montreal laid off about 124 folks inside of their organization. Many of them doing general and administrative functions, and many of them at the Hybrid visual FX studio that is based in Montreal, and in global IT. So it doesn't look like a ton of cuts have been on the game development side of the equation, which is no comfort for the folks that were affected. So
No, I mean,
yeah,
like, it sucks. No one wants to say it, but we're in a recession now. There are things being squeezed across the board, across numerous industries. So
yep,
I can't say I'm entirely surprised, but this seems like the sort of thing where it's like, they looked at the numbers and the numbers weren't black enough, so they decided to squeeze here and there across multiple departments where I'm sure they felt they could get rid of redundancy or
yep,
whatever. Obviously, no comfort to the people who have now lost their
yep,
jobs. But this is going on all over the place, so I can't say I'm surprised.
yep. And again, it's hard to elaborate more than that because we are talking about this story seemingly every single week now.
Yeah.
But it's not just game developers who are feeling it right now in the game industry. Carrie, you and I should be very, very excited that we no longer work for GameStop because things are getting pretty grim over at the old the old GameStop. So GameStop is changing a lot of their formerly long-standing policies. Even though it's worth noting that the company has over $1 billion in cash reserves because of the whole meme stock thing. They're sitting on a shitload of money. And again, GameStop, for all its troubles, is a company that has traditionally operated with very little or no debt. They've always kind of run the company that way. But that is not stopping cost cutting under the Ryan Cohen regime. So one of the things that they're doing is when you go to GameStop and you buy a game console, you have the ability to buy a product replacement plan, which is a fancy term for a warranty that you can buy in the console. Basically, it costs like an extra $50 to $60, and it says, hey, if this console stops working or is defective in the next year, you can replace it with a new console. If you buy a new console, you got a new console. If you bought a used console, you got a used console. Well,
now they're replacing new consoles
with
used consoles. Are
used
you
consoles.
fucking kidding me?
Yes.
Don't shop at GameStop. Jesus
To the
Christ.
point that if the store doesn't have a used, so like if you bought a new PS5 and you have a warranty and you need to return it, if the store you go to does not have a used PS5 in stock, they will send you to another location
No.
to go get another used
No,
PS5.
dude.
Yes.
Fuck that.
Yes.
Like, that's so bad.
Because here's the inside baseball that's also funny. They don't even need to do this because
No.
when you had a warranty on a new console, we very specifically had to get literally everything that came in the box or
Yes.
not give whatever the customer didn't bring with them. And
Right.
we literally had to put the console in the retail packaging that it came in. And the reason why is because GameStop would get credit back from Sony or Microsoft for defective consoles that came back from customers that were new. And that was why we had to have the full bundle. This is
Right.
fucking repugnant shit, man. Like,
This
is fucked up. Because they're still
and
still probably getting that credit back from the publisher.
They're still probably getting that credit back. And then, like, on top of that, as this person quoted in this article said, was like, it's a disaster. Half the pre-owned we get is broken or was in the home of a smoker. I remember literally turning people away or saying, I'm going to take this as a defective console if I could smell the console. Your console shouldn't have a smell to it. If I can smell your console because you smoke in the house, then like I would send it out to get refurbished and I wouldn't give you your full money because fuck that. Because I didn't want to sell someone else something that I wouldn't want to receive myself. And of course, I'm sure GameStop probably cut down on that kind of shit too, because God forbid any of us take care of our customers. So yeah, I'm sure that is repugnant. You said it best. That is repugnant shit from GameStop, replacing new consoles with pre-owned stuff turned in by someone
But
else.
that is not all. That is not all.
No.
So the Power Up Rewards program, which had already been
Stupid.
nerfed
Right.
a year ago, like you no
And they
longer
charge more for it.
Yes, you charge more for it. You no longer get a discount on used games
What
when you
the
buy
fuck?
you.
That's the whole
That
point
was
of
the
it.
fucking whole program. Yes, that was the whole fucking thing. So
Okay.
what they've been giving you instead is they basically get a free $5 monthly coupon that you can use, and you used to be able to use that coupon on anything. Well, no longer can you use it on gift cards or digital purchases. That is being restricted from the $5 coupon from now on. Also, when you first signed up, you got 10,000 points, Power Rewards
Mm-hmm.
points, which is equivalent to $10. That's going down to $5. But yet the price, again, still remaining $25 annually, up from $15 back when we were part of the company. And basically, like the email that was sent out to the staff to like an FAQ said, "Hey, why are we changing the $5 monthly reward to improve the profitability of the program?"
Yeah, cool. Go
Amazing,
fuck yourself. And then
amazing.
on top of that, on top of all of
The
that,
the
they're
worst of
also
all, one could
they're
argue,
cutting employee benefits.
cutting
The
employee
healthcare costs
benefits.
are going up in 2024, and the company is ditching basic life insurance, accidental death and dismembership, short and long-term
Short
disability.
term disability.
Yeah.
Matching
Matching
401k
401
cut? Are you fucking kidding me?
off the
Holy
table.
shit.
So it's
Holy
like now
shit.
it's like I'm sure basically all you get now is just health. They I'm assuming it's like you're not getting vision, you're not getting dental. Like
And here's the other thing. So like not only have they got rid of basic life insurance, and again I can speak from experience. So you used to get like the company would pay for basically a year's salary worth of life insurance for you.
mhm,
They used to give you accidental AD&D, which is accidental death and dismemberment.
mhm.
They provided short and long term disability. Short term disability is basically fucking standard for most companies that you work at that are full
Yeah.
time. Long term, sometimes the employee has to pay for it, sometimes the company does, but short term at least usually is covered. For matching for like you're not going to fucking match
Nope.
for what? Are you kidding? Like that's insane. That, and not only that, so you're getting rid of all this shit. You'd think that the cost would go down. No, no, no.
No, it's going up,
They're
bitch.
passing more costs onto the employee. So a 850 deductible plan, which is a lower deductible. I will acknowledge, and I don't know if there's a high deductible option, but that's a lower deductible for an individual for a single person is going to go up to $377 a month. That is what do the math real quick. That's it's like $180 a pay.
Right.
Holy shit, man!
On
Like
GameStop salary.
that's
Like
crazy.
they
That's
don't pay their
crazy.
employees well either.
So a family plan. Now again, when I worked for GameStop, I covered my whole family under GameStop. Like my
mhm.
wife, me, and my son. Were covered under GameStop, and I think what I paid my premiums out of my paycheck were I think it was like I want to say it was around like $240 a pay, give or take.
Okay.
And I didn't have the best health. Like I had like the middle of the three options or whatever,
Sure.
and not a lot of add-ons, but it's still like $250 a pay is what I remember it being. A family plan is going up to $1,100 per month for GameStop employees. That is fucking fucking insane. And again, that's not like you're giving them a worse plan. It just means the GameStop is paying for less of the coverage. Like they're just paying for less of it. Outrageous. Meanwhile, Ryan Cohen, who is like GameStop is headquartered in Grapevine, Texas,
Yep.
went on Twitter and promised every Texas Rangers player a free $1,000 gift card if they won the World Series. And again, there's only 30 players on the Texas Rangers baseball club, so that's not insane. But again, like that the tone deafness of of doing that.
Fucking
While you're
stupid.
cutting all these benefits, is crazy.
It was nice to see the Rangers win the World Series, though. I will
Yeah,
say
I mean,
that.
like you said, of all the teams that were available, I'll fucking take it. Man, I mean, look, Ryan Cohen and Elon Musk, two dudes cut from the same fucking cloth, guys that are thought of to be smart because they lucked into some good,
Because
financial stuff.
they, well, you're right, because they come from rich families.
Well, and also like Ryan Cohen built Chewy, which is an incredibly successful fucking
Right.
mail delivery pet supply order business. And people assume that because he did it once, he could fucking do it again. And but all he is a fucking meme stock guy and a fucking edgelord dude, and he fucking sucks
Yep.
too. Oh my god, I feel so bad for folks that I still know that are still
Still a
hanging on to that
GameStop.
company. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, man, oh man, oh man. The last news story of the week is another trip down repugnant lane here. So there is, and again, like I put this on here not because of the game, but just because like when I heard about this, I was like my mind was blown that a developer thought this would be okay to do. So there is a gotcha game called Taimanin RPG Ecstasy, which is a basically anime
It's
RPG.
a horny game.
Yeah, it's got a lot of
game.
anime chicks with big boobs.
It's got a lot of big titty anime chicks in it.
Yes, not safe for work game. You play on your smartphone. It's a gotcha game, right? So that's fine. And so because of that, you have your login bonuses and your free weekly rewards that get you some level of in-game currency and stuff like that. So basically, they have this currency in the game called time of crystals. That when you basically got one of your units to level 4, it would, you get 500 crystals, and then getting it to level 5, you get an extra 1,000. And this is basically how you grind in the game. The developers, which is Infinity Brain Inc., realized that, oh shit, we're giving out too many crystals with these weekly rewards. And so they said we were only supposed to give out 100 crystals for that level 4 gain and 250 crystals at that level 5 gain. So basically, like they were handing out 4 and 5 times too many rewards than they intended to. So normally, when that happens, company would revert to the correct models, and their players would get really pissed off. But you kind of keep marching forward, and the players that liked the game would still play, and the players that got pissed off would leave. They didn't stop there. So basically, they said because we fucked this up. Now, not only are we going to adjust the rates so that we are only giving out the correct currency that we deem was correct, but we are going to retroactively hit players with those same currency gains as well, meaning that a lot of players went into premium currency debt because of how much they had played the game. And essentially now they are playing the game for no benefit, just to pay off their fucking tabs because of a mistake that the developer made out front.
Nah, man, that's
in what universe? In what universe did the decision makers of this fucking game company sit there and think, well, this is a great idea. This will make total sense. And so like some players were multiple thousands of crystals in debt. And so they said, oh man, we really fucked up. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to give everyone a gift of 1,000 crystals. and a lot of people are just like, bro, that's a fucking drop in the bucket. Are you fucking kidding me?
right.
Are you serious? That's fucking crazy. I cannot believe this is a thing that fucking happened.
Nah. Nah, sorry.
And again, it's a free currency. Like I understand why they're adjusting the giveaway rates because they want
Sure,
they don't want
like
people
adjust them,
yeah.
but like don't claw back what you've already given out. Like
that's just insane. That's just so fucking crazy. That's just so fucking crazy. Literally in the patch notes that they put out in the game, it says, let's see here. The difference between the incorrect amount and the corrected amount of time of crystals shall be subtracted from any time of crystals earned after this maintenance. Once the number of subtracted time of crystals reaches the number stated in the difference above, you will then be able to collect time of crystals as usual. That's so fucking nuts, man. Could you imagine what it would look like if like a major game publisher did this in their free-to-play game?
I just no, because there'd be a huge pushback. Obviously, there'd be a bigger to do about it rather than this relatively small to do for this relatively small mobile game. But it's fucked nonetheless.
Oh my goodness. So I just thought that was a hilarious story and a fun way to end the news. We got you with some ads coming up, and then we'll be right back with questions from the post office. All right, so let us take a dip into the post office. Don't forget that you can submit questions to us that we will answer on the air for you by going to densepixels.com/fans and joining our Discord, just like T-Wash did, who says, who would you like to see go through Silent Hill but will survive? Vince McMahon should go through, but I don't think it'll change him. Carrie, you're going to tell me because I literally have never played Silent Hill, and I only tangentially know.
Bitch, I
what it's
haven't either.
about.
I don't play spooky games.
So
It's like, look, what I at least know about Silent Hill is that
foggy small town. Yeah.
foggy small town is in a lot of ways, it's like what's happening in Silent Hill is like a reflection of your subconscious and like your own inner demons being reflected as things that are like literally coming after you and trying to kill you and that sort of thing. So that being said, I can't think of anybody who I would want to throw into Silent Hill, but in a way that'll like allow them to survive and change them for the better. Because it's like I would like to put, like Elon Musk in Silent Hill, but I mostly just want to see him hunted for sport by Pyramid Head. I want to see Jeff Bezos go into Silent Hill, but I want to see him, fucked up by some of those nurses. It's not. I'm not particularly optimistic about any of these old white capitalist assholes who should probably, experience something horrifying in a way that'll change them. But I don't think any of them will actually ever change for the better. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, it's a difficult question to answer because you naturally would only want to see like the worst people kind of deal with this. But who's to say that they would survive? I don't know. Like a Donald Trump would be like so arrogant probably that he would just like I'm like I don't even know what his demons would look like. Like it would probably just be like naked versions of his daughter trying to come after him and and fornicate and stuff like that, and he'd probably be all for it. So that'd be very exciting for him, I'm sure. Daniel says, I was thinking about trying to get a wireless controller set up with my computer instead of being tethered to a USB. Have you guys done that? And what device do you use?
I have like the little USB dongle for my Xbox controller. And I use that, but it's like also, I've never been more than about 3 feet away from my tower anyway. So why bother with the wireless? When I can just stay tethered and stay charged. I've never really focused too much on having like a wireless controller for my PC.
I am kindred spirits with Daniel because even though the USB port that I would plug my controller into is literally a foot from where I sit, I just don't like that level of constraint with a wire. So my controller of choice is the 8-bit do ultimate Bluetooth controller. It has the ability to switch between Bluetooth and 2.4 gigahertz, which I prefer the 2.4, just because you get better, less latency. As you can see, it is kind of the profile of a Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which is very comfortable. It has 3 different controller presets that you can set on here with the software that you can get for it. It's remappable. It's got 2 little back paddle buttons on the back here. It's got Hall effect joysticks, which means that you won't get stick drift because it's done by magnets instead of by potentiometer. I really like this controller. I think it was like I want to say $60, and I use it all the time. So I would say the 8-bit do ultimate Bluetooth controller should be the one that you get if you are looking for one. Cam asks, what are your hopes for the next Spider-Man game? A question that I'm sure he was assuming that Micah would be present to answer.
I hope it's good. I'm really looking forward. Look, I'm almost certainly going to pick it up for myself and play it this weekend. So I'm very much looking forward to doing that. But I can't speak to how good Spider-Man 2 is and what my hopes would be for Spider-Man 3 until I actually play Spider-Man 2.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood asks, going on last week's episode, what are the best and worst third-party controllers or peripherals you've ever had or sold from GameStop?
I don't know. I feel like particularly in like the PS2, PS3 era, there are just a lot of really low quality controllers being
Hmm.
made. A lot of shit by like Logitech and Mad Cats that was just
Well, so
not
it's funny you
good.
say that. I remember I had a wireless Logitech PS2 controller that was actually excellent. I don't
Okay.
remember the name of it, or the model number, but I remember that I used that thing for many many years, and it was pretty great. So that was probably that's up there. I just talked about the 8-bit do controller. That is another really good third party option, I think, as well. You count headsets as peripherals because headsets have come a really really long
Mm.
way for gaming in the industry. I currently use the SteelSeries Arctis 9, which I'm a big fan of, and I think that's pretty good option, good mid range option out there. The worst. So,
Honestly, it's like I think of a lot of like Mad Catz like controllers, particularly for like GameCube.
mm,
Like I think that's where I encountered them most frequently in like middle and high school.
yeah,
Cuz it's like the grips on them were just so nasty, they were very harsh on the hands. Um yeah,
GameStop
the
had a house brand of controllers that I think was manufactured by PDP, but
oh
it had
yeah.
the GameStop branding on it.
Oh
Um,
yeah, those were also pretty fucking bad.
those were all very bad.
Yeah.
They were very light, but not in like a good way, like in a cheaply
No, like
built
in a
way.
really cheap plastic kind
Yep.
of way.
All of the buttons were terrible. I just remember the 360 controller, instead of having like mimicking the nice rounded triggers, smooth triggers, had like really just sharp
Mhm.
triggers on the two buttons. Like the handles were pointy, I guess, to differentiate themselves from the Microsoft controllers, because again, from a
Yeah.
layout standpoint they were identical, but like it just was bad. They were such shit, man. And again, they sold for $20, so I would assume that people knew what they were getting into when they bought them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never liked those house brand GameStop controllers. I hated selling them new. I hated even more selling them pre-owned when they came in.
Yeah.
Not a fan there. And of course, if you ask any old head GameStop guy, the Tony Hawk helmet peripheral, the helmet camera, was one of the most infamous GameStop third party accessories
Oh my
that was out
god.
there. Mad Coco G says, has Carrie, during her busy move, welcome to Cali, by the way, and band member life, seen any of the recent Netflix animes? Hashtag mouthful of toast forever.
Thanks. Appreciate the continued support for a podcast I haven't done in like 5 years now. Um um Honestly, no. And I need to catch up on a lot of things. I just like obviously with everything I've had going on, particularly within, let's say, the last month or so, as far as like packing up my entire life and moving across the country, I haven't exactly given myself a lot of time to just like sit and watch something new. There's a lot of things I really want to watch. Netflix specifically, I really want to watch Castlevania Nocturne. I really want to watch the live action One Piece, which I hear is fantastic. I hear Pluto is very good. Um, I need to catch up on the latest season of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I only watched like the first core, I guess you would call it. Um yeah, there's a lot of stuff I need to really catch up on anime wise. I haven't really been watching a lot lately just in general. Like the only thing that like I would really watch even when I was like sort of packing up and like giving myself a break is like I would just throw on HGTV and just watch whatever mindless shit was on there.
You
So
are
no,
that age.
I am, yeah, I've been that age for a minute. I'm a white woman in my mid 30s. So
Mid
uh
30s. You're still in your early 30s. Get the hell out of
I
here.
turn 34 next
Oh
month,
God,
believe it or
really?
not.
Yeah,
You
really?
surprised, bitch.
Oh God, I thought you were still 32. Oh my lord.
Nah, man.
God, I'm
So
old.
we're getting old,
We are
but
getting old.
yeah, there's quite a lot for me to catch up on anime wise, and I'm looking forward to having the time to catch up on it. So
Last question comes from Cam, who says, and this is probably for me, what insanely idiotic and dangerous spot do you think Cody Rhodes is going to attempt in his dad's creation, aka the War Games match? Also, do you think WWE fucked up by not having Regal announce it, William Regal, even though he has no current authority? I think that William Regal is still barred from being on WWE television for at least the next couple months. I think that was part of his agreement after he left AEW. So I think that's probably why that didn't happen. Oh my goodness, Cody Rhodes is probably going to do something insanely stupid. Carrie, so the War Games match, so that you understand what
I was going to say, I got no idea what's going on here.
So the way War Games works is, first of all, you have two wrestling rings set up side by side with each other. Like that's okay. The first conceit. And both those rings are surrounded by a like large rectangular steel cage. Now, back in the old days, it used to be an enclosed cage. This new version has an open top on it, so they can do cool shit off of the top of that. And basically the way it works is you have two teams of 4, and 2 guys, one person from each team starts the match in the ring. And then every 5 minutes, somebody from one of the teams gets to go into the match, and they alternate. So basically, usually the bad guys always get the advantage, where they always have like a numbers advantage, because that's kind of a conceit of the match. And the match doesn't officially start until everyone is in the match, and then basically it ends. I think the current version lets you pin a guy. It used to be submission only, which was better because that kind of is the whole conceit of the match, is that you want to beat the crap out of your opponents until they literally have to give up. So it's a very cool concept. It's one of the coolest match concepts that's out there, especially in its original incantation. It has led to a lot of really memorable moments, which leads us to Cody Rhodes, because his father, Dusty Rhodes, dearly departed, was the inventor of this match. Like, he was the one that created it back in WCW. And so this is the first time that Cody Rhodes is going to be a participant in a War Games match. So I'm sure he is going to do something insanely stupid, probably having to do with jumping off of the cage through something or onto somebody, or in just some ridiculously demented way that gets the crowd chanting, holy shit. Normally the spot you see in the War Games match is you see somebody climb up to the top of the cage, and they'll jump off onto like everybody, like there'll be this like, you know, contrived reason for all the other 7 people to be below them so that they can kind of catch them. I can see Cody Rhodes like jumping halfway across the ring, like through a table, like on from the top of the cage into somebody, which is going to be very silly, but also incredible looking. Yes, so it's going to be the match is always fun. So I am looking forward to that happening again. It is becoming an annual tradition in WWE, and it's great because like the conceit of it is like you have usually it's a faction against another faction, or one faction against a group of other wrestlers who just all have beef with that faction, so they become like this uneasy alliance, and they made a meme out of it, because now, you know, you'll see that like the 2 factions will fight on an episode of Raw outside the ring, and just like they'll be unable to be broken up, and like they're constantly getting each other's shit, and so the authority figure of the brand comes out and is like, all right, you guys are like, if you guys want to fucking fight, like you're gonna do it in War Games, and like it's like fucking big thing that pops the crowd. It's and William Regal was known for,
and then a logo comes up.
Yeah, William Regal was known for doing it, and it became such a meme for William Regal that like I think one year when he announced the match, you saw the groups fighting. He comes out to the stage. Everyone knows why he's out there. And like you see the factions like stop, they look at him, and he doesn't even like go into a long preamble. He just like fucking looks at him. He's like, War Games. Just fucking walks out.
Good. All
right. It's pretty fucking great. Professional wrestling's fantastic. So that is it. Yep, that is it for the show this week. Thank you guys very much for watching, listening, and we'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.